Hello and welcome to DDOCast episode 358, recorded on the weekend of November 8th and 9th. I'm your host Patrick. There's no one with me just yet, but we'll have several guests coming later. This week's screenshot, Gwendelstern discovers some zombie rats in the 196th DDO screenshot of the week. We like to talk about Dungeons & Dragons online nearly every weekend. You can catch us through Google Plus Hangouts, YouTube, or from our website at DDOcast.com. DDOcast is hosted by CyberEars, the awesome podcast hosting network. Shows are usually available within a few days of recording, and the next show will probably be Saturday, November 15th in the evening. You can stay updated by following us on social media pages or our website, DDOcast.com, particularly with our calendar. On the podcast this week, some brief news updates, some community updates, and then something a little special and different. What we did was a DDO version of Family Feud, calling it DDOCast Guild Feud. Had two guilds on, recorded a show for that. So that will be at the end of the show for your amusement and enjoyment. We'll start with game news. There are going to be new phone support hours. Starting on November 10th, English phone service support hours will be changing. Phone support will be available from 2 p.m. Eastern Time until 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday. If you have an urgent issue or are unable to get in touch with a live agent during these hours, you will have the opportunity to leave us a voicemail. Please leave us a clear message with your name, username, phone number, and a brief description of the issue, and an agent will attempt to get back to you at the next available opportunity or time you specify if possible. You can also fill out a ticket at the support site listed in several dev signatures. Additionally, you can tweet us at DDO Unlimited and add CS at the end, so one of the support agents will be better able to see your tweet. As always, they appreciate your feedback, and you can send us feedback ticket by selecting the question type feedback when submitting a ticket through the web or responding to the survey you are sent after a customer service agent has responded to your ticket. So it sounds like at least the phone service is one of the areas that is being hit by the layoffs coming to Turbine. And so it's only about 4 hours worth of phone time, phone support. However, I'm not really sure how much, how many people are usually using that phone service. So it's probably a calculated cutback. Some news on the Frenzied Berserker. They wanted to kind of go more offensive-minded with the Frenzied Berserker and less kind of the more defensive, healing amp, hit points minded. They kind of want to differentiate a little bit between the other ones, and people were asking for that. So the following changes have been made to the core enhancements. Toughness, the first core will give plus 20 hit points and 10 healing amplification. Frenzy, the second tier, will additionally give your melee attacks do an additional 2d6 damage, which scales with 100% melee power, and also will give you plus 5 melee power. The third tier will give 5 PRR, 60 hit points, and 20 healing amplification. Death Frenzy will add an additional 4d6 damage, scaling with 100% melee power, as well as granting 10 melee power. And then the Capstone will give, additionally to what it's already giving, 4 Constitution, 10 melee power, and when raging, your attacks that roll a 20 do an extra 400 damage, which scales with melee power. Yeehaw, more damage. If you're a barbarian and you like damage, you will like these changes. Kind of just talking generally about barbarians, they said mathematically getting extra hit points coupled with extra healing amp is equivalent to a % reduction in damage, except the barbarian will have an advantage where untyped and force damage that goes through PRR and MRR will not have a greater effect on the barbarian's overall time to kill like it would against a character using those defenses, which is a fair point. Claiming that extra hit points coupled with healing application isn't damage mitigation is misleading at best. So that's kind of where the devs stand on how barbarians will survive in today's DDO environment, basically saying if you have a lot of hit points and you have healing amp to accommodate that, then you are effectively getting a reduction in damage compared to everybody else. There was an error in the 116th DDO Chronicle. The Guild Rare Encounters is not on Sarlona as advertised. They are on Thelanis. So if you're looking for them, you want to be looking on Thelanis. And there was a report this week that the LFM panel should be fixed with update 24. Basically what happened is they changed when people load into your Who panel, which made it so that the LFM panel was not showing anybody. Whoops. The bonus days for the weekend, which are already over by the time that this will come out, was 50% extra challenge rewards. Yeehaw, if you wanted to run challenges, you missed it. Hopefully they'll bring something like that again. That is by far much higher than they usually do. Just like 20 or 30%. So 50% was a pretty nice bonus. Store news. New on sale. You can get plus 6 tomes between now and November 13th. Additionally, you can get 20% off of the following until November 13th. Character banks, character inventories, shared bank storage, and shared bank platinum storage. And the freebie for the week is 1 minute of time with the coupon code TIME16. You can get 1 per account. The 117th Chronicle, your DDO's Green Steel Planner is back, so you can check that out if you're looking to make some green steel still. It's a very nice, handy way of planning how you want to do that. DDO Gamer was looking at making a build with the most hits per second in a blog post. He's combining, I believe it was Druid, Monk, and possibly Fighter, and getting a high rate of attack. The High Lords of Melchior on Solona are hosting weekly Mark of Death raids open to the community, so you can check out how to join them. MD Interactive is hosting another Turbine Point giveaway. You can check that out. And Tears Palladium on Ghallanda is hosting a Veterans Day ceremony on Tuesday the 11th, Veterans Day in America. I'm pretty sure they're inviting anyone from any country with veterans relations to join them as well. Let's see, the Chronicles of Eberron are a small roleplay guild on Thelanis looking for others to join them. The guild was recently created and is in the process of making a guild website. You can check those guys out to the Chronicle. If you could hire Elminster for a day, what would you have him do? That's easy. I'd have him clean my apartment, including the bathroom. And preferably with some sort of magical substance that will keep it clean and self-cleaning for several, years maybe? That'd be nice. But not like the Sorcerer's Apprentice style of cleaning. Nice and controlled would be great, Mr. Elminster. Thanks. Let's see, DDO Players News, Episode 6 is looking at crafting, and they had Lessa join them for that. Let's see, we had Order of Syncletica, Stealth Through the Claw of Volkur. Ginger Spice has DDO trivia and more in his latest video, and Enrique looked at the Black Lock in a new blog post. We got a shout out for having Cordovan on the show last week, looking at Killing Undead, as well as our Guild Feud Play at Home version, which we will be announcing the winners next show, because that will be up until this show gets posted, and I'll tabulate the winners for all that fun stuff and let folks know about that. Videos for the week. The weekly Wednesday went to Epic Red Fens. The Fall Fling number 5 went through Minecraft walk-ups, the second part of that. As mentioned before, Ginger Spice had a kind of his week in video. In addition to the DDO Players Alliance, there was a 76th edition of DDOCocktail Hour that came out this weekend. Nice to hear Samus and Lessa back in the saddle again, talking about DDO and random things associated with that. The lighter side of DDO, as I like to say. Additionally, there is a new blog site on in the DDO world, the Measurement Guild. The site is a platform for answering questions that need a little more depth, questions that don't quite fit on a DDO wiki but are useful to know. What they answered in their latest blog post was basically comparing and contrasting an attack speed boost with a damage boost and which one you should be getting for your character. And there's also several other things that they're looking at doing and some questions. Basically, it's a lot about data, and kind of numbery, crunchy things, more so than most blogs. In the future, they should be adding a post about true base damage rating to break down how the Holy Sword spell and other bonuses add so much to the base damage, and how high can you get with one of the best weapons in the game. As I mentioned, the Green Steel Planner is back on your DDO. See, Og wanted to pop in and let everyone know that the Green Steel Planner is back online. He had it down for a while, but there was a flaw that he needed to fix and has been done. Basically, what can happen is if you upgraded it, you can start your planning at any tier you want, so you don't have to be confined to one direction if you don't want to. So that's pretty neat there. And also going on, you can support Team Turbine Movember. Jerry is kind of spearheading that. He's starting with a $1,000 goal for the year. Last year they managed to raise about $2,500. As of the 6th of November, we have already raised $500, which is the second benchmark that he was looking to achieve. If you give $50, you can get a custom forum title, subject to all the normal code of conduct stuff. $75 will get you a Winter Wolf Pup, and $100, Cordovan will lead or run a group for you and your friends using a non-admin standard character on your server, and he'll run whatever you want. And those are cumulative. For the group incentives, the first two, which we have already unlocked, Cordovan will award a total between the two of 15 500 turbine point codes to randomly selected winners that donate at least $5. At $1,000, we'll get another 10 turbine point codes, and he'll probably have to figure out what comes after that, seeing as how in 6 days we reach half of the goal. He also did say last week that if $10,000 are raised, he will shave the DDO logo into his head. So if you have that as a goal, start giving generously. And Movember, if you are not familiar with what that is, basically it's supporting men's health. I believe the standard way to kind of participate in that is to shave November 1st and grow some sort of a beard or mustache throughout the month of November. Post this week, Day News wrote regarding our last show and Omni Spells. The main reason he likes Omni Spell stones is one spell, Trap the Soul, since otherwise getting the Kyber Dragon Shards for the 30 hit die version take a lot of hassle. It would be nice if that spell got an update so it can work in epic levels. The fact it's an insta-kill spell that works on stuff like Undead and Constructs is very nice, which is very true. It's one of the few things that you can use on Undead and Constructs. A tip, if you are using that spell, because normally if you gather your ingredients, it'll suck the materials out of your inventory space. If you lock the ingredient, the dragon shards, the bag won't collect them. Handy tip if you like to use that spell. Axel wrote in concerning the barbarian changes. His concern was their DPS will be comparable to paladins, yet their survivability, self-sufficiency will be significantly worse. What's the plan for making them a competitive class, especially in Epic Elite? That's why he feels the DPS needs to be boosted to be the best melee DPS in the game. He doesn't see any reason to put up with the rage penalties otherwise, which is a fair point. The rage penalties, particularly in a today's gaming environment where using a lot of spells from your Epic Destinies, particularly Cocoon, which pretty much everyone has in a twist slot these days, is a pretty debilitating penalty for not a whole lot of extra strength and constitution. Healing amp and hit points doesn't seem to come close to bringing barbs up to the level of other melee classes, although as the devs did point out, it is a different form of mitigation. However, we'll kind of see how it all plays out. I'm sure there'll be some balancing stuff as well, but I agree. I would like to see some more offense, and as I mentioned before, I would love to see some more two-handed fighting stuff in the trees to really kind of augment that. Xnardo wrote in regarding his screenshot of the week. The armor he was wearing is the Epic Emerald Guard, which comes out of the Orchard, and the weapon in his hands was the Epic Hellstroke Great Axe for Halloween. And that was the Epic Hellstroke Great Axe comes out of the Chronoscope. The survey question from the week comes from Laryl. How do you best utilize Tumble in combat? Which is something that, to be honest, I'm not horribly great at. And I don't really use it a whole lot. Now, having said that, if you have a high Tumble, what you can do is while you're blocking, you can move a farther distance than you would normally be able to move in the same amount of time frame if you were just strafing from side to side. or walking forwards or backwards. It's a nice burst of movement. However, they did make some changes. It used to be that you could tumble in pretty much any circumstances, but now if your movement is hindered in any way, shape, or form, you aren't able to tumble. So that greatly reduces the utilization of tumble in combat. I'm sure some folks will give me some other ideas on how you can best utilize tumble in combat, but mostly it's an avoidance mechanism. As I said, I don't particularly use it. I don't really see very many people using it either. You can, if you have the right enhancements, you can tumble through monsters. I believe it's in one of somewhere. One of the abilities you can tumble through mobs, which can be handy if you get pinned in. Otherwise, it's mostly just a big burst of movement if you have it high enough. If you don't have it very high, it's not really going to do you a whole lot of good. But there you go. There's some thought. It's the trick of using tumble is you have to be blocking to move, so you have to quickly throw up a block, whether or not you have a shield, and then move, all in kind of one quick motion. And some of the attacks, if it's slow enough that you can actually do that effectively, you can probably just run out of the way and move, as opposed to actually using tumble. But that's kind of my kind of thoughts on the matter. It's not really effectively able to be utilized in tumble in combat. It's kind of fun to do backflips and stuff when you're moving around, but really the only thing I find tumble useful for is taking less falling damage, which you can get with Featherfall. So if you're listening and you have some other ideas you'd like to leave in the comments regarding that, please do so. So with that, I'm going to say thanks for listening to the show, and thanks to the guests that we have for our DDO Guild Feud coming up after I close this out. I really appreciate the time it took all of those guys to do that. Thanks to the other contributors for DDOcast, and thanks to Turbine and Wizards for making DDO and D&D. And thanks to Cyberbeers for hosting this podcast. You can hit us up at DDOcast.com for show notes, our calendar, previous shows, swag, and other fun stuff. If you want to be a part of the show or just say hi, you can email us at DDOcast.com. You can also find us on social media and follow us for the latest cast updates. The closing tip for the week comes from Sidekick. Remember to change the oil in your Warforge every 3,000 quests. Otherwise, they get a little rusty, like the Tin Man. So until next time, may all your attack rolls be crits, all your chest level appropriate, have fun, and don't forget to stay tuned for a special DDOcast edition of DDOCast Guild Feud. Thanks for listening. Hello, DDOcast listeners. We are here with two guilds. We have, well, sort of guilds. The first one is DDOCocktail Hour, led by Lessa and Samus. And the second is Ghallanda Rerolled, led by our own Lich. And what we're going to do today is something kind of fun. We're going to play a version of Family Feud, the Guild Feud, DDOcast style. So we have, we'll just kind of go through the teams here real quick and have Lessa introduce her team. Go and introduce your team, Lessa.
Hi, thanks. I have, my team has grown over the last few minutes. I'm not really sure I know everyone. So
they're halflings. How much could they really grow?
I know, 2 for 1, right?
3/4 of a halfling's length. Height.
So, I'm Lessa, Paladin Extraordinaire. To my left is Samus Robo, co-host of DDOCocktail Hour. To his left is Forestra, who I think is
the wife.
This is Samus. Yeah.
He's me older.
And then, of course, there's Tabril, who moonlights as Batman. Yeah, he's a millionaire.
I am Batman.
So, and then from my Red Eye static group on Selenis and also Arganessen is Saba Jade, the little halfling here, and then Mythery, caster with absolutely no sense of self-preservation.
Excellent. And Lich, if you can introduce your team for us.
Thank you. First of all, me, Lich. Next is Ash. Ash, say hi so everyone knows your voice.
Hi, Ash. Hi, all.
All right. Kodara?
Yes.
Junk.
Greetings, my minions.
And Zad.
That was
You got a purty mouth, Zad.
Let Vermin just laugh at me.
All right, so we're going to do this a little bit differently than you might be used to from the show Family Feud. We're going to alternate teams, and we're going to roll for initiative because this is D&D instead of playing with buzzers. So for the first question, Lessa and Lich, please each roll a D20 for initiative. Lessa comes in with a solid
typical
4.
paladin fashion.
And
16.
Lich does with a 16. All right, Lich does, you get to go first. And the
Excellent.
first,
I'm scared.
The first question is, what is the best thing about DDO? And for reference, we did ask 100 players these questions, which includes devs.
Yeah, character customization is probably the best thing about it. It's what it's got going on other games.
Character customization, we had 25 people say character customization.
Alrighty. So
now we will...
do we get those points added to like a total and then
Yes.
they do their own answer? Okay, cool.
Yep. Teams will keep their points. There will be no stealing points. So, Lessa, it is your turn. What is the best thing about DDO?
I'm going to say the combat system, Patrick.
The combat system is worth 6 points. We had 6 people say that one.
That's surprising.
Some of these answers are actually kind of interesting and surprising. So let's see. Next is Ash on Ghallanda Rerolled. Ash, what is the best thing about DDO?
It's based on Dungeons & Dragons.
It's Dungeons and Dragons. You get a whopping 2 points for that one.
Good answer. Good answer.
Yeah, 2 points for that one. As we go to Samus, what is the best thing about DDO?
Man, I'm really torn. It's got to be the loot, right?
The loot.
I'm getting a bunch of head shaking over here.
One person said loot. That means we go to Kodara. Kodara, what is the best thing about D&D, or DDO?
Player community.
Player community was 24 people.
Boom.
I should say character customization was actually the top answer. That means we go to Tabril. Same question, sir.
Okay. Who going to ask these questions again? I was totally not paying attention.
What is the best thing about DDO?
No. Who was asked the questions?
Oh, they're players of the game, which does include devs.
Oh, I thought it was just devs. I misheard. If it was just devs, I was going to say getting paid. Everyone took all my answers. I'm going to go with shadow humping since everyone took all the good answers.
Shadow humping
I think that is a good answer.
Shadow humping is worth a strike.
Ah.
Oh.
Junk, what do you got for what's the best thing about DDO?
I was going to go with what he said, so I'm just going to have to, since I can't think of anything else we've got, I can't believe only 6 people said combat. I'm going to have to go with bacon-wrapped halflings.
Bacon half halflings is also worth a strike.
Ah, that's garbage.
We needed a better survey group.
I demand a recount.
No way, that was a lot of counting. I didn't interview. I interviewed more than 100 people. The same 100 people were not asked all these questions. So let's see. That means we go to Saba. Saba, what is the best thing about DDO?
Well, Junk took my answer without the bacon. So I'm going to say, I don't know if this is under character customization, but all the different classes that we have.
That is under character customization. Would you like to pick something else?
Sure, although there are no answers left. All the classes. variety of quests.
Quest is worth 6 points, which I believe means that we're on Zod. Zod, what is the best thing about DDO?
Reincarnation.
That was worth 1 point.
Ugh. That's worth more than bacon-wrapped halflings. I don't believe it.
It's worth more than the sneak humping. That ain't right either.
You shut your whore mouth. Whoops, sorry.
Let's go to Myth. Myth, what is the best thing about DDO?
Did anyone say the graphics? I like the graphics.
Graphics is also worth 1 point.
I'm sure that person was Stevie Wonder.
I think that means we go back up to Lich.
Alrighty, do we roll again for initiative for the next category?
No, we'll keep. We can keep going until we get 3 strikes on each team.
Oh, right, I forgot. Ooh, this is gonna be tough. So we got quests and we got character customization. Epic Destinies?
That was included in character customization.
Okay, then Kobolds.
Kobolds is not worth any points. That is a second strike.
Alright.
Let's go to Forestra.
Alright. Then her backup answer is Festival.
Festival is worth a strike. It is 2 strikes apiece. That means we go to Ash on Ghallanda Rerolled. What is the best thing about DDO?
The crafting systems.
I am sorry. Crafting is not one of the answers. And that means Ghallanda Rerolled has struck out. Lessa, it is your turn. What is the best thing about DDO?
Okay, this is for all the money, right?
No, you get to keep your points. But you can.
Oh, okay, right,
you can
right.
get
right.
a couple. You can get a run off of a few points here. There's still a few answers.
Okay, I'm gonna say. Am I allowed to say the best thing about DDO is dragons?
You are indeed. Dragons is an answer.
Sweet.
Good one.
It is, however, only worth 1 point.
Ew.
What? It's a big point.
Mr. Samus.
Yeah,
your
dragons
turn,
in the combat system, they both suck.
Oh, this is no good. I think we got all the good ones. The next thing that comes to my mind would be like XP, but we already probably covered that under character customization. Shoo. Let's do the spellcasting. I actually really enjoy the spellcasting in this game.
That is worth a strike, and that is the end of that question. But well
So
played.
what did we miss?
There was one person said cosmetic pets. There were a couple people each said it's free, escaping the real world. Perhaps my favorite answer was staying out of jail, but you guys pretty much got all the big ones. All right, so for the second question, we'll have it rolling for initiative between Samus and Ash. Samus with a 20.
Damn you, natural 20.
Beating Asheris's 17.
Hacks.
All right, Samus, the question is, when the DDO servers are down, what do you do instead of playing DDO?
Clean answer, Netflix. I'm going to say Netflix.
So I'm going to include that in watching TV, which is worth 2 points, if you can believe it. Only 2 people said they watch TV. Ash, what do people do when they are not playing DDO because the servers are down?
Go on the forums, complain about it.
Going on the forums is worth 11 points. Mr. Torbrell, do you have an answer for what people do when the games are down?
I have 2 answers. One that's better than the other. I'm going to go with read.
Read is worth 13 points.
Hot damn, that's even better than
That's
drinking
such
water.
bullshit. People read more than watching TV.
Hey.
Oops, sorry.
That's okay. Yes, indeed, many more people said read than TV, which I was actually surprised at. It was quite surprising for me. Kodara, it is your turn.
People would log in and play their other MMO of choice.
Playing another game was the top answer at 24.
Sweet.
We need to go to Saba. What do people do? Servers are down.
Play another game, but a board game with the family.
Family time was worth 2 points. Junk. What do people do when the servers are down?
Work usually happens during the workday here, so I'm going to say go back to work.
Work was worth 8 points.
More than television.
Good answer.
More than television. Myth, it is your turn. What do people do when the servers are down?
I'm going to say go outside.
Going outside was worth 1 point.
Oh man, our community is really indoorsy.
Yes, indeed they are. Let's see, that means we go to Zad. What do people do when the servers are down?
Surf the web for objectionable material? Try to give a PG-13 answer here, man.
Yeah, so we will give you 1 point for that.
Whoa! There's one similar soul out there. There's hope for you yet, Dad.
So, Crotch Punch, out of coincidence, did you take this survey?
Probably about the best way to answer that I've heard. Let's see, that means we go to Forestra. What do people do when the servers are down here? Taking a nap. Sleeping was worth 6 points. Let's see, it means we're back to Lich. Lich, what do people do when the servers are down?
Take a bio break. Go to the bathroom. Since we're covering the bases of sleeping and working.
That was not an answer. That is a strike, sir.
Ugh.
That would be a really long visit, wouldn't it?
Lessa.
Okay, I think one answer is going to be just as horribly low as another, so I'm going to say eat.
Eat was indeed worth 1 point.
It's not a strike.
And we are back to Ash.
Let's go with go shopping, take care of chores type things.
Shopping was not on the list. That is a second strike to Ghallanda Rerolled versus no strikes for DDO Cocktail Hour. So that means we go to Samus.
I would like to say adult activities.
That is a strike, sir. Kodara, what do people do when the servers are down?
They do chores and errands and the adult normal things you should be doing.
Housework was worth 2 points.
How is that not an adult activity?
We knew what you meant.
Dobril, what do people do when the servers are down?
Let's go with special alone time.
I just tried that with adult activity. We got nothing.
Oh, you said implied a group.
I'm going to include that in adult activities. Do you want to pick something else?
We can tell some people here prefer to solo.
Well, you know, should I swim? I don't know.
I will include that in exercise, which is worth 1 point.
Yes! Boom!
Fair enough.
All right, Junk, what do people do when the servers are down?
Well, considering the number of Australians who play this game, I would say fend off wild dingoes to prevent them from eating their babies.
Hunting is not an answer. I believe that is 3 strikes for you guys. Let's see, it goes to Saba. What do people do when the servers are down?
I'm going to say nothing because there isn't anything without DDO.
Good answer.
There was one person who said wait. Which I will count that as.
That's a good one.
Myth. What do people do when the servers are down?
How about social media? Do their Facebook.
Social media was worth 3 points. That means we go to Forestra. What do people do when the servers are down? Planning builds, character builds, was worth 5 points.
Nice.
Which means we go back to Lessa.
Okay. Okay, cry. I'm going to cry because the servers are down.
2 people said that they would cry.
Oh my God, that was joking.
Oh,
I'll take it.
Yeah, awesome.
DDOCocktail Hour is mounting a nibbling comeback. Samus, what do people do when the servers are down?
I know this should be the obvious answer, but how about enjoy a podcast?
I'm sorry, sir. Nobody said to enjoy a podcast.
That's it. I'm out of here. F their couches.
Dun, 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 dun. Wow.
And I must apologize. My record keeping was a little poor. TV was in fact worth 5 points, not 2 points.
That makes more sense. It's still not
That's
supposed
much
to be
better.
better than reading. I mean, less than reading, though.
It was indeed less than reading, which was a little bit surprising. You guys pretty much got all the big ones there. So after 2 rounds, the current score is Ghallanda Rerolled 98, DDOCocktail Hour 56. That comes up to the 3rd round, and means we're going to have Kodara and Tobril roll for initiative. Kodara with the high roll of a 1. Tobril wins on a 2 for initiative. Some high rolling initiative there. The 3rd question, starting with Tobril. Name a monster you do not like to fight.
I like fighting all the monsters. This is hard, you guys. Let's go with Mimic.
Mimics was worth 2 points. That means we go to Kodara. Name a monster that people don't like to fight.
Beholders.
Beholders was 24, the number 1 answer. Let's see, Saba, what monsters do people not like to fight?
Rust monsters.
Rust monsters was the number 2 answer at 14. And interestingly enough, for those that want to keep score at home, Rust monsters was the answer every single dev that answered said. Let's see.
They all play Warforged.
Junk, what monsters do people not like to fight?
Shatterkai Assassins.
Shatterkai Assassins was worth 2 points.
Meaning you had two endgame people in this entire 100. Got it.
Shatterkai are tough.
That's actually not true, because a lot of these people I actually asked while I was rating, so at the end. Let's see. That means we go to Myth. What kind of monsters do people not like to fight?
Ghosts.
Let's see.
Was there a guess there? I didn't hear it.
Ghosts.
Unsatisfying swinging at air.
There was one person who said ghosts or wraiths. Sad. Name a monster people don't like to fight.
When was this survey held? Is it post-update 23 or pre-update?
Pre-update 23. I probably should have mentioned that before. It was started in this late summer and kind of went through just recently, but I asked people to not consider update 23. What was your answer?
Ooze, slime, oozes or slimes?
Oozes was worth 11 points.
Puddings.
There we go.
Woohoo!
Forestra. What is a monster that people don't like to fight? The Abbot was worth 1 point.
Why do I have a feeling most of the people who took the survey never ran a raid?
It's entirely possible. Let's see, I believe we're on Lich. What is a monster that people do not like to fight?
I'm going to have to go with mummies because of the mummy rot.
Mummies was worth no points. That is a strike, sir.
What?
Lessa, what is a monster that people don't like fighting?
Gale Clerics. I think they're called Gale Clerics. The ones in running with the devils.
They're called glow balls.
Yeah. Those little balls of light.
That is also worth no points. Well, that was a good answer. Ash, what is a monster that people do not like to fight?
Let's go for dragons.
Dragons was worth 3 points. And that means we're on to Samus. Samus, what is a monster that people don't like to fight?
First of all, I just want to say that this is I don't understand how the Defense Guild is choking this one up. This is an easy one. We're gonna say elementals, specifically air. Now, Beholders was not first on the list. I owe Tobril a kick in the
Beholders
nuts.
are stupid and weak. They eat like 6 beholders a day for breakfast. What's your problem?
With Vegemite, right?
Oh, yeah.
I will include all elementals in this answer for a whopping total of 3 points.
They are definitely annoying.
Interestingly enough, air elementals would have been my answer. I think it took 50 people before anyone said air elemental, or something to that effect. Kodara, what is a monster that people do not like to fight?
Giants, because they step on me.
Giants is not an answer. That is a second strike to Ghallanda Rerolled. And we go to Tobril. What is a monster that people don't like to fight?
I still think this question is racist. I like to include all monsters in my killing. Let's go with Marilys.
Marilys is not an answer.
What?
There's 2 strikes apiece. We go
Was
to...
this survey held on Snowy Side Korthos?
No.
Yes, it was.
I did try to get a wide player base on this, though. I will say that. Junk, go ahead. What is a monster people do not like to fight?
I'm going to go with kobolds.
Kobolds was worth 1 point.
What?
What about Kobold, specifically the in-boss from Into the Kobold? Is that one like 5?
I have a feeling that most people took a survey never ran into the kobold.
Actually, the person I know exactly who the person was that said kobold, and the reason he gave specifically was because it means he's got a long way to go back to Cap.
Nice.
Yep.
That's the point.
Saba, what is a monster that people do not like to fight?
I'm going to go with evil outsiders, demons or devils.
That was worth
That's a bit broad.
1 point. It was a little broad, I'll give it to you, but it was 1 point. Let's see. Zod, what is a monster that people do not like to fight?
Howlers, dogs,
Howlers was
annoying
worth
little bastards.
1 point. I believe that means we're on Myth, right? What's a monster people don't like to fight, Myth?
How about the lag monster?
That would be a good one. However, nobody said lag monster, which means DDOCocktail Hour has struck out on this question. And we
Don't be silly. There's no lag in DDO.
Lich, what is a monster that nobody likes to fight?
Because of spell resistance and most people not stacking for it, we're going to have to go with Drow.
Drow is also worth a strike, which means both teams have struck out. And neither team got
hang on.
Oh, yeah? What's up, Samus?
Hang on. How about the plant monsters and the skeletons? Specifically skeletons for the healing. The plant monsters are the worst.
There are no plant monsters in the list. Skeletons had 3.
Oh my god.
My
I
favorite...
apologize, he's actually 4 years old.
My favorite answer on this one, which nobody got, was the wife. I had 3 people
I don't know, my
say
wife's
the
not
wife.
a monster.
What about the husband? Why is it always the wife?
This is kind of sexist. This is terrible.
It is. It should have just been a blanket spouse.
I apologize. The spouse was worth 3. All right, after 3 rounds here, Ghallanda Reroll is at 140 points, and DDOCocktail Hour is at 78. That means we are...
I would like to have a recount where Tobrel shuts up and is not allowed to answer questions anymore.
Nice.
I think he might have scored more points than you have.
Oh, yeah.
Although I'm not tracking that individually.
I totally track. I'm totally getting more.
That means we're at a roll-off for initiative between Junk and Seba. Mephits also, by the way, was worth 4 points, which nobody got. I think that was the highest one that nobody got.
People hate methods? Really?
They spawn all the time.
It was on my list, too. Yeah.
Nobody said giants.
Air elementals.
Spiders was said. Someone did say spiders.
Harpies were on the list, were they?
No. I had, my list was Abbot, Artificers, Bats, Beholders, Constructs, Dragons, Elementals, Howlers.
Bats was a good one.
The things that are immune to cold, knockdowns were things that people said. Living spells, Loth was in there, Mind Flayers. Someone said mosquitoes.
Mind Flayers was a good one, yeah.
All right, the
Okay,
initiative
we can
results are
roll.
in after a nice little lag delay. Big Junk wins with a 4 over Saba's 1. Some high rollers in these guilds here. The next question, starting with Junk, name a beautiful area in DDO.
Stormhorns.
Stormhorns was worth 13.
I'm taking it that was not the number one answer.
That was not the number one answer. Saba,
Okay.
your turn. What is a beautiful area in DDO?
The Veil.
The Veil is the number one answer with a 28-point score. Which means we go to Zod. Zod, name a area that is beautiful in DDO.
I don't think he recognizes beauty.
Amarath?
Amrath is
Pretty
a
cool.
strike, sir.
What? That's one of like the best looking places in the game.
You said hell for the beautiful place? Really?
It's good graphically. That's one of their stronger places.
But it's beautiful, not the best looking. My God. You really do have someone chained in your basement, don't you?
Myth, what is a beautiful area in DDO?
The King's Forest?
King's Forest is also worth 13 points. Lich, what is a beautiful area in DDO?
Giant Hold. How about that?
Giant Hold is also a strike.
So I pick Hell,
Or
and you pick the place
crap.
that's laid off by a nuclear warhead.
If it helps you guys, you guys already have got the top 3 answers, so. Let's see. It means we are on Frustra, right? Frustra, what's a beautiful area in DDO? The harbor is worth 2 points. And that means we go to Ash. Ash, name an area that's beautiful in DDO.
We'll go with the desert. There's a certain beauty in the desert, in the sand.
One person did say Menektaran Desert. Lessa, can you name a beautiful place in DDO?
Yes, I can. The Orchard.
The Orchard is worth 3 points. Cocktail Hour is mounting a comeback. Kodara, name a beautiful place in DDO.
The Cerulean Hills. Our lives with music.
The Cerulean Hills was worth 4 points. Sam Scarobo, name a beautiful place in DDO.
I'm actually a really big fan of, is it Anorexia's Haven, the little island with the little sauna in it?
Yes, one person did say
Yeah.
Ataraxia's Haven. See, I believe that we're on Junk. What is a beautiful area in DDO?
Three Barrel Cove.
Three Barrel Cove was worth 2 points. Tobril, can you name a beautiful area in DDO?
Let's go with the airship. The guild ship.
I'm sorry, but that is worth a strike, sir.
What? Oh, you should have seen the chick I hit up on our ship last night. Oh, man. It's pretty hot.
Zad, what is a beautiful place in DDO?
Korthos?
Korthos is worth 1 point. Let's see, Saba, name a beautiful place in DDO.
House J.
House J is worth 2 points. I believe we are back to Lich. What is a beautiful place in DDO?
I'm going to go ahead and say Evening Star.
Evening Star was worth 5 points. Myth, what is a beautiful place in DDO, if you can think of one we haven't said already?
The High Road.
The High Road is worth 2 points. Ash, your turn, sir.
Point of order, is it always going to be explore areas, or could it be quest/raid locations?
Any of the above.
Let's go with Tempest Spine.
Tempest Spine is your team's third strike. Which means we go back to Forestra. Our Sarcaix's Valley is a second strike for DDO Cocktail Hour. And back to Lessa.
Oh, Lord. Okay, most of the really good answers have been taken. I'm going to go ahead and say the Underdark.
The Underdark is the high one that is left, I believe, with 3 points.
Yes. Nice.
The Underdark's prettier than Hell?
Samus, name a beautiful place in DDO.
Oh, the lava and the giant tower and the lightning bolts.
All I got was lava lightning bolts.
The 12?
The 12. 12 is worth 1 point. Tobril, what is a beautiful place in DDO?
Let's go with Seaver Atoll.
I am sorry, but that is not an answer. That is the third strike for Cocktail Hour. Making up a little bit of ground at the end of 4 rounds. It's Ghallanda Rerolled 166, DDO Cocktail Hour 133. Zod and Myth, please roll for initiative for the last question. Myth wins with an 8 over Zad's 6. Right, Myth, here is the question. Please listen carefully. If Yogi Bear was in DDO, he would be smarter than the average what?
Dire Bear?
Dire Bear is worth 6 points. Zod, if Yogi Bear was in DDO, what would he be smarter than the average what?
He's smarter than the average kobold.
Kobold was worth 14 points.
Kobold, remember, waterworks.
Let's see. Forestra, what would Yogi Bear and DDO be smarter than the average? I am sorry, but nobody said human. That is your first strike. Lich, if Yogi Bear was in DDO, what would he be smarter than the average?
I'm going to say owlbear.
Owlbear was also worth 14 points. Lessa, what would he be smarter than the average?
Well, since he just took my answer, I'm going to have to go with half-orc.
Half-orc was worth 3 points. Ash, if Yogi Bear was in DDO, he would be smarter than the average what?
Halfling.
I'm sorry, but halfling is also worth a strike. Mr. Samus, what would Yogi Bear be smarter than?
Hey, boo-boo, smarter than the average wizard.
Wizard is a second strike for DDO Cocktail Hour. Kodara, what would Yogi Bear be smarter than the average?
That would be the average ranger.
One person did say ranger.
Burn.
Let's see, Tobril, what would Yogi Bear be smarter than?
Oh, what's the score? Like 11 million to 1?
195 to 142.
Let's go,
yes.
Well, it doesn't take a Kalashtar, so let's say Kalashtar.
One person did say Kalashtar.
Hot damn.
Mr. Junk, what would DDO's version of Yogi Bear be smarter than?
I say smarter than the average noob.
I'm sorry, nobody said noob. That is 2 strikes for Ghallanda Rerolled, and we go to Saba.
Smarter than the average bear.
Bear is worth 4 points. All right, Zod, give us another answer that Yogi Bear would be smarter than.
Smarter than the average troll. I mean, a troll.
Troll is worth 2 points.
Blasphemy. I mean,
Still alive.
who would say such a thing?
Let's see, Myth, what would Yogi Bear be smarter than?
Yogi Bear would be smarter than the average butt bear.
That's a good one. Good answer.
Bugbear is worth 11 points.
Yep, that's the good one.
Nice, Smith.
Let's see, Lich, I believe it is your turn, sir.
Yogi Bear is smarter than the average druid.
Druid is worth 8 points.
Ooh, nice.
Forestra, what is Yogi Bear smarter than? Hireling. 3 people did say hireling. I was marginally concerned that no one would get that. Ash, what is Yogi Bear
That's a damn
smarter
good
than?
answer, actually.
They're smarter than the average barbarian.
4 people said barbarian. Okay, Lessa, what is Yogi Bear smarter than?
Smarter than the average hobgoblin.
Nobody said hobgoblin. That is DDOCocktail's third strike. Kodara, what is Yogi Bear smarter than?
Coil.
That is the third strike for Ghallanda Rerolled.
Dum, dum, ba-dum.
I will say, though, that someone did say coil. It just wasn't within the first 100. However, my favorite answer out of this one that no one said was smarter than the average dev.
We were all thinking that, too.
We just didn't know we could say that one or not.
How many was it?
Only 3 people. It was, however, the very first
No.
answer I got. Okay, so that finishes the main round, and the score at this point is Ghallanda Rerolled at 209 and DDOCocktail Hour at 161. So we're going to do a speed round. So what I need each team to do is to pick 2 people to play in the speed round.
What do you think, Lessa? You vote Sama?
I vote for Saba. And you.
And me? Great.
Second.
Yep, and you.
I'm good with that.
You guys can burn in a fiery, fiery pit of Shabrath, I guess.
Don't screw up.
Right.
All right, Lich, who will be representing your team?
I don't know, team. What do we think? I guess I could go. Okay. And Junk?
Sure.
Okay, as the leaders currently, Lich, you get to choose whether your team goes first or second. And what'll happen is one team will go, then the other team will go, and then we'll bring in the other people. So we'll alternate again. Would you like to go first or second?
Yeah, we'll go first.
Go first? Okay. Lessa and Samus, who's going to go first out of your team between Samus and Saba?
Saba, you feel like going first?
It doesn't matter.
Alright, well, she can go first. Yeah. We believe in you.
Always let the lady go first.
And
Not
Lich,
as long as she goes twice by the time we're done. It's all good.
Lich, who's going to go first on your team?
I'll go first.
So how does this work? I don't watch Family Feud.
So what's going to happen is I'm going to read a question, and then Lich is going to give me an answer very quickly, and I'm going to go through each of those questions in succession. And he'll give me just a quick answer for 5 questions, and then I'll give you guys the point score, and then we'll have the other team do the same thing. Your second person can't repeat an answer. All right, Mr. Lich, are you ready to go here?
I guess so. I'll ready as I can be.
Okay, as a reminder, these questions were asked of 100 players, which did include devs, and it was asked pre-update 13. All right.
Pre-update 13?
Or update 23, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Oh, man.
The last one. Update 13 would be a long time ago. I don't even know what update that was.
So, no Epic Destiny. This cap is not even
Yeah.
no.
anywhere near what
That
it
Update
is.
was
23.
Spinner.
Okay.
All right, here we go. You'll have probably about 40 seconds maximum for this, starting after I finish the first question.
Okay.
What is the most common level to break an elite bravery bonus streak?
I'll say 20.
Name a DDO dev.
Steel Star.
Name a playable race you want added to the game.
Gnomes.
What is your favorite class?
Monks.
What is the most challenging quest in the game?
What goes up? Epic Elite.
So let's see, your first answer was 20, which was the number 1 answer at 23 points. Steel Star was worth 3 points. Gnomes was worth 29 points. Monk was worth 11 points. And What Goes Up was worth 6 points. Hey, Saba. Welcome back.
Hello.
Okay, so if you're not familiar with how this is going to work, I'm going to ask you the same 5 questions that we asked Lich. You'll have about 40 seconds to give me an answer to all 5 of them, starting from when I finish the first question.
Okay.
You don't have to worry about duplicating answers, so anything you say is good to go. Okay?
Okay.
Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay. First question. What is the most common level to break an elite bravery bonus streak?
16.
Name a DDO dev.
Cordovan.
What is your favorite class?
Monk.
Name a playable race you want added to the game.
Koal.
What is the most challenging quest in the game?
In the flesh.
Are duplicate answers okay?
Not for the same team. So 16 was worth 4 points. Cordovan was worth 21 points. Kobolds was worth 10 points. Monks was worth 11 points. And In the Flesh was worth 4 points. Hi, Junk.
Hello.
The current score is Ghallanda Rerolled 281 to DDOCocktail Hour's 211. I'm going to ask you the same 5 questions that I asked Lich. However, you cannot duplicate the answer. If you do, I'll ask you to try again. Because it's a little bit harder.
Okay.
We'll give you about a minute to answer all 5 questions. We'll start when I finish reading the first question. What is the most common level to break an elite bravery bonus streak?
Quest level or character level?
Character level.
18.
Name a DDO dev.
Cordovan.
Name a playable race you want added to the game.
Troll.
What is your favorite class?
Ranger.
What is the most challenging quest in the game?
Quest or raid?
Doesn't matter.
Devil's Assault.
All right, your first answer of 18 was worth 9 points. Cordovan was worth 21 points. Troll was worth no points. Ranger was
Blasphemy.
worth 4. And Devil's Assault was also worth no points. All right, Samus, the current score is 315 to 211. I will ask you the same 5 questions. You'll have about a minute to answer them, starting from after I read the first question. If you have a duplicate answer of Saba, I will ask you to pick a different answer. As a reminder, these are questions asked of DDO players, including devs, and it is pre-update 23. Ready to go?
Sure.
All right, here we go. What is the most common level to break an elite bravery bonus streak?
15.
Name a DDO dev.
Cordovan.
Try again.
Tolero.
Name a playable race you'd like added to the game.
Gnomes.
What is your favorite class?
Wizards.
What is the most challenging quest in the game?
The I don't know, pass. There's another one.
That's the last
That's
question.
the last question.
You got 8 seconds. Give or take.
The one with the beholders and the puzzle of the drinking quiz.
Delirium?
Delirium? Yeah, the other one. Delirium Part 2, whatever that's called. Acute Delirium is the name.
All right. 15 was worth 4 points. 20 was the number 1 answer. Tolero was worth 6 points. Cordovan was the number 1 answer, which I think both teams got. Gnomes was worth 23, which was the number 1. 29, which was worth the number 1 answer. Wizard was worth 10. The number 1 answer was Cleric for best class.
What?
What?
People don't play.
In what parallel universe was the survey taken?
It was mostly random. Cleric was the most popular answer. And the Acute Delirium was worth 1 point for the most difficult quest.
What won that, out of curiosity?
That was Heroic Abbot. Was the number 1 answer.
Well, if they don't know it, I suppose. I mean, it's easy if you know, so it's difficult.
I guess maybe elite at level. I could probably buy that, maybe.
Well, everyone has to know what they're doing. People can fail it for you real easy, too.
You need 3 guys who know what they're
Elite at
doing.
level enter the Cobalt, because that one's scary.
So my guess
No,
is
not
that
really.
was,
Technically, raid
Cobalt
takes so
Spud.
much coordination, but most people are
You can
judging
tell
all
where-
their skills by EE
You
what
can
goes
tell
up
that we're
anyway.
all like elitist players with all sorts of skills.
Yeah. You know, I thought the one of all the giants running around the circle was harder than what goes up.
It
Whatever
is.
the name of it.
Oh, breaking the ranks.
Breaking
Yeah,
ranks is easier to solo on E though, because you don't have like all that other crap. But
I think it's harder than what goes up.
So the final score is Ghallanda Rerolled 315 to DDOCocktail Hour's 261. I'd like to thank both teams for participating and playing. Very appreciative.
We're special.
Was that
Hope it was
315 or 215?
315.
Okay.
You guys smoked us. It wasn't even close.
Thanks all of you for playing, and I'll be passing some goodies to the team leaders to dole out as they see fit here. Thanks, DDOCast listeners, for listening. I hope you found this to be enjoyable and marginally insightful. Thanks, guys, for listening.
Thanks for throwing this together. It was a lot of fun.
thank you all. Stay classy.
Good morning, guys. Oh.
Make a grandma.
What? Make a grandma? What kind of necromancy is that?
You were in a
The
line. Where are you
sexy
going?
kind.
Yeah, no. 3 of us
I don't
were down
know.
there. 3 of us are up here. You guys just come up here. It's easier.
Yeah. Oh, we're organized.
Who's Forstra?
You watch that video to get you in the mood for Family Feud.